Welcome to watching online guided tours for PTC Asia. Here we are on the Tour 3, Smart Components Driving Future. We have honor to invite Huifeng Motors Co Ltd to give us the first speech about this tour. Let's welcome Mr. Yuan from Huifeng Motors Co Ltd.
Okay, thank you for interviewing me. First, let me introduce some of our company background. The company was established in 1989, so we have about more than 30 years experience. The company focused on manufacturing electric motors since the company first established. So now we have more than 200 different kind of motors produced in this company, and of course we at the beginning the company focused on exporting business. So we have more than 20 years exporting. The company has more than 30 years experience on manufacturing electric motors. So and also our market are all developed countries. For example, like Western Europe and America and Australia, and so we know how to produce a good motor. I mean, in China, many manufacturers they produce motors for many different customers or different markets, but we focus on high level of the market. So that's our general background of the company.
Thank you for the introduction about your company. Now, could you show us your core products to bring to us this year?
Yeah, of course, the electric motor is so-called like industrial bread. So that means many areas they use motors, but motor is a very wide range product. For example, everybody, for example, like yourself, maybe on your pocket you have some motors in your mobile phone. Yes. So, and some big motors, some 1,000 kilowatts, bigger than a horse. So every company they focus on very certain range of motors. For example, like our company, we don't produce a very big range. We produce some about 100 watt to 100 kilowatts. So every company they focus on very narrow. So we, for example, here is some motors you can see is a kind of a series of standard motors for both China and Europe, called IECA standard motors. But even they call IECA standard motor, but they also have different requirements. For example, they have a different efficiency requirement. For example, IE1, IE2, IE3. Currently, most of the country, because of the low carbon requirement for environmental protection requirement. So actually, for European market, they require for some motor they still want IE2, some IE3 at this moment. But for next future, we already prepare for higher efficiency level for IE4, which is much higher than current standard. So we have both IE2, IE3, IE4. Even the standard motor from outlooking you see the similar, but actually they are different. This here the series motors for Europe, and of course for this and the other side, which I will introduce later, for America, that's a standard. Of course, for even look outside look similar, but they also have a different application. For example, this area they call automobile maintenance equipment motor. For example, this for the with pump can for the hydraulic lift power unit you use, and here is the wooden working machinery area. So this even here you see different area. Even they are looks like similar, but they are different application. Here is just I said this another standard motors called NEMA standard motors, which is for American market. Also similar thing. They also have a different level of efficiency. Here is the NEMA pyramid efficiency, which is current higher efficiency motors. You see the different frame. This made in steel, rolled steel. Here is the motor for the fan. For example, for fan is also a very big industry. Many applications. Some for the leisure. For example, the children play in the castle with the air pump the air, and children play. But most our motor go to industrial use for ventilation. For example, for some hospital, for the stadium, they use to ventilate, make the air always fresh in the ampere. So this year, with the pandemic, many industrial, our target market, for example, Europe or America, some city locked down, and also many industrial and factory closed. But one of the customers, even the government require them to open because they use for their hospital to ventilate. So for this kind of business, of course, some of our business reduced. But for this one, this year increased a lot. So the reason why they use, because our high technology built for these motors, because we have built a good fan motor since 20 years ago. So we have abundant experience on manufacturing this kind of motors. That's why we are chosen for such emergency situation. So we are lucky. Some motor, we lost some sales, but this can recover some for us. This series motor, we call stainless steel freezing housing motors. All the motor made in stainless steel. They are very good for food industry, and also for the meat industry, and also of course pharmaceutical and also chemical, because they stand still, so they can't be rusted. So which is very clean for this kind of industry. For example, in future, many countries have the food. If your equipment made for food, they have a very high requirement for the hygienic requirements. So this all designed in our GV in Italy, and in the world even very advanced technology built inside of these motors. Many of the famous food machinery company cooperate with us. So this is the first time we introduce this motor. We try to introduce this kind of motor and this series motor to China market. So we hope we can find some good customers, and because we know in China we have very big market for food. So many machinery we are made for food, but at this moment I don't know. We have a similar requirement. Hygienic requirement for the food machinery. But I'm sure in future, or they should have a more strict requirement for because this, if you use stainless steel, you must very clean in the factory, because every day you can use a spray, high pressure water to spray all your equipment and make it clean all the time. So that's a very good advantage at this moment for future. Just now I introduced some standard motor which you can find in some our other stands. But of course, in motor range, they also have some very special requirement we call OEM system, OEM requirement. So that means we can design and produce for a customer's very special application. We develop many different motor for many different applications. For example, for some garage door, for your car, and also we produce some motor for environmental protection, air conditioning, fan motors, and of course also we produce some small motor for example like some household use and applications. For example, like a coffee grinder. Actually, we produce this motor, quite small motor, for some years. But this year, this one bring us a very good business because, as you know, with this COVID-19 pandemic in the world, especially in our target market, Europe, which in early this year they had very big destroy to the people's normal life in those countries. So they stay at home for longer. So they, of course, for like the Chinese drink tea, they drink coffee, but all Starbucks or coffee shops shut down. So they have to make coffee for themselves at home. So everybody, every family, they bought one coffee grinder, coffee machine at home and make coffee themselves. Because they, for example, in China we drink tea, by many ways, but they drink coffee fresh. So that's why we sell quite well this year, 3 times more than normal. So some motor we sell much less than normal, but this brings us much more business this year. So generally, this year in our factory the turnover about even as last year, because some we sell more, some sell less. But you have to develop some very strong products in your factory. Then in some emergency, probably play some different roles. That's all I said.
Thank you, Mr. Yuan. As you told us before, your company's main market target is the Europe area.
America,
do your company have any intention to open up or set up a new market from overseas?
Yes, of course. We have very good sales of our product at this moment. We are quite happy. But of course, for example, like COVID-19 pandemic this year, they destroyed Europe and America badly. That's our main market. So at very early of this year, we were very worried because really our main market have some trouble. So at this moment, we think even we have this year we seems didn't give us too much influence, but we have to think for future. We must balance the market. So
opportunities.
Yes, that's true. So next step we are looking for. The different market, for example, Southeast Asia or South America, even Middle East. We have to think. At the same time, we also think Chinese domestic market, because with our increase in level of standard life, I mean, more and more product which was in Europe was popular, but I think they gradually moved to China. So, for example, we already talked to produce this machine in China with our customer in Europe, and we produce this complete unit and probably find some market in China as well. So, for sure, we have to think for future.
Thank you, Mr. Yuan. I hope these online guided tourist activities can help you to explore more opportunity to cooperate with overseas people.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.